The Riot League of Legends MMO. Anyone remember that one? I'm honestly still kind of excited, even though I forgot about it for a bit.
Well, it would be nice to get away from all the fire and the flames. And there is definitely one way to do that. With an unhealthy dose of copium. That's right, throughout all the good and the bad news that rose up recently, there is a theory about Riot's MMO that slowly brewed in the background.
Okay.
And it all actually started 5 months ago. Right as the whole craze started around WoW Classic Hardcore.
Wow.
The entire thing got an awesome story of its own. It was a few months before BlizzCon when Blizzard decided to give WoW a whole new game mode. It was a hardcore version where it...
Crying. Bruh. That's not accurate at all.
If you died, you were dead and you had to delete your character.
Yeah?
It was nothing revolutionary, but somehow...
It was revolutionary. This completely changed everything I thought about gaming because I honestly did not think that there's gonna be that many people who are stupid enough to actually try something like this. Dude, you're playing World of Warcraft on the Blizzard servers. It is literally only a matter of time until you die to a DC. Or some kind of bug that just now existed only specifically for you. Okay? Bro, if you're playing hardcore, that's on you, baby. That just proves that you're insane because you literally have just told everyone, I do not respect my time. That's right. I'm gonna play World of Warcraft Classic Hardcore. Yeah, that's right. Jobless, almost homeless, wifeless, childless, and I'm gonna play hardcore now because there's literally nothing better to do with my life. Man, it is what it is.
Somehow it lined up with WoW's hype and it started getting a decent amount of traction. Traction which ultimately sucked a lot of WoW's addicts right back into the game, amplifying their unhealthy habits, which was so absolutely awful. If anything, MMOs are known for destroying people's social lives and their health. But thankfully, at least one of these problems can be fixed with today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by HelloFresh.
Garbage!
I know you MMO...
Buy HelloFresh if you're literally stupid. HelloFresh is absolute garbage that no one should spend their money on because it's literally a blatant almost scam in the most truest sense of the word. If you buy HelloFresh, that means you live in a country where you don't even have food at gas stations. Like, go to a gas station, buy one of those pre-cooked meals. Congratulations, you just saved money on HelloFresh and it probably tastes better. Disgusting, deplorable.
Don't worry, we are still on track to get to Riot's MMO. But first, we need to explain the entire situation with WoW Classic Hardcore. You see, WoW is kinda known for going in circles. People play the game, get addicted to it, they burn out after achieving...
Oh, I thought he was gonna say something bad about the developers. Because they really go in circles when it comes to World of Warcraft, baby. Man, they don't know what a non-circle is. When you tell, can you draw me a line for a WoW dev, they do it like this. Yeah, that's it. That's a line. Oh my, it's so dumb. It is so dumb, bro. I thought he's gonna veil on the WoW devs for constantly going in a circle. New season starts, devalue everything that everyone has achieved previously. Wait, no, scratch that. New content patch, devalue everything you literally worked so hard to get like a day ago. There you go. Catch-up mechanics. Ever wanted to feel good about getting an item? Well, here's a catch-up mechanic every single week, so you can do the current most hardest raid tier. Oh, and by the way, the raid tier drops gear that's worse than the current catch-up mechanic. It is what it is. We wanted to be fair. Bro, Blizzard developers, no matter which game, just constantly are going in a circle of doing something arguably good, then reverting it into a mistake. It's great.
Achieving their goals, they take a break for a year and then they repeat the cycle the next year. And it just so happened to be that when one of these cycles started repeating, an originally fan-made game mode of hardcore started getting popular. So later Blizzard turned it into an official one even though they were slightly late to the party. The thing is, this didn't stop a lot of people from still picking up the game, including someone like me. I got my druid to level 50 on EU without dying, and then a somewhat
LOL druid players.
known streamer decided to make his own hardcore guild on the US server. At first, the idea of joining their guild entertained my mind, but I still wanted to focus on my original character. But then, a lot of my friends started joining. The entire thing started snowballing, and eventually some really big streamers hopped on too. I mean, honestly, I did not expect someone like Pokimane to even give it a shot. Although, true
I wished Pokimane just never gave anything a shot. It is what it is. Sad human.
truth be told, a lot of these streamers just got to level 5 and then quit. The point is, with this wave of big streamers trying the game, WoW Hardcore got a decently big, albeit short-lived, fame. And while to many this big boom was seemingly a big spectacle on the surface, I mean, it was a goldmine for funny content, in reality, something cooler was happening just below the surface. Because while everyone thought this was just a streamer thing, the truth is, a lot of devs loved diving into this one too. And the ones that stood out the most to me were, of course, some pretty high-placing people at Riot Games. Now, at first, you might start getting a hint as to where I am going with this.
Okay.
But at face value, this doesn't really mean much.
Yeah, no, I actually completely don't understand what's the point of this. Is the developers leave, quit, join, steal ideas, cheat on their spouses? I don't know. I completely am clueless what you're insinuating even here.
The Riot Games devs playing WoW a lot doesn't mean that Riot's MMO is gonna go in the same footsteps, right? Right? Well, the idea quickly took some
Never even crossed my mind, but yeah, probably not. What's the point of making another World of Warcraft? You want to make something better. And that's kind of what Riot has been doing with all of their games. They're just making things better. I'm okay with them stealing from World of Warcraft anything they desire, as long as it's good at the end.
turns when people noticed that one of these people was Mark Merrill, aka Tryndamere, who first posted a screenshot of getting his druid to 52.
Okay, let's see. Carrot on the stick, the stupid thing. I recognize the gloves, the rings. I think I know what they are. No idea what the chest piece is, though. Interesting.
On a US server, which was then followed with a screenshot where he made it to
Not
level
a bad
60.
character,
Now,
though.
in case you don't know, assuming he played normally, it takes a long time to
Yo, that's a biggle. That is a biggle.
actually get
It's not actually that good, but it's rare, which makes it a biggle. This is actually super rare, pretty much. You almost never see anyone with this.
to 60. Like, this is a multi-week commitment. And the funny thing about this one is that he dinked level 60 on a laptop in Korea while he was at Worlds. I'll be honest, that is definitely one way to play hardcore WoW. Who would do such a thing? Anyway, here is where we need to dive into some very important facts.
Okay.
If the recent news proved anything, it's that people love to talk about managing people at video game companies, right? Well, in Tryndamere's case, the entire journey is quite unique. See, together with Brandon Beck, also known as Rise, Tryndamere first co-founded Riot Games to make League of Legends. After many years of working on the game, eventually the two co-founders retired, which is when they took more of a background role at Riot Games.
Okay.
But not too long after that, Tryndamere actually decided to go back to development.
Bro, look at this guy's neck's proportions. His head is actually as big as his neck. Like, look at me, bro. That's. Come on, that motherfucker, bruh. What the hell is with that neck, yo? You can't even probably put your hand around that log, yo. Is this a Sims character?
and so he took on the role of President of Games at Riot Games, which means that he would be a lot closer to the development of all the games that are going on at Riot. In a way, you can see him as the person who oversees the game genres and the directions of their games. So now, do you pick up why this is important?
No.
From what was teased in the past, it seems like Tryndamere...
Unironically, I don't. I'm not even lying about I'm not even joking about this. I just don't. I completely am oblivious to what point he's trying to make.
...was one of the people who initiated the idea of experimentation with the MMO. Contrary to what people may think, Ghostcrawler wasn't actually the only one who pushed for the MMO, which would also indicate...
Bruh, that Ghostcrawler, look at that. I understand his name now because, man, that baldness is crawling and it's ghosting up there.
...who pushed for the MMO, which would also indicate that with Tryndamere being a fan of the classic old-school styled MMOs, it would be very likely for Riot's MMO to approach the classic formula of MMOs, which people call theme parks. And what's crazy about this one is that currently there are no other developers who would really be trying to approach this. For some reason, everyone is trying to experiment and reinvent the MMO wheel in some way, be it with changing worlds, gacha-like progression loops, or fully procedural dungeons and loot. Nobody is really...
Oi, to call Diablo 4 fully procedural blah 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 is a little bit of a... You might as well call Starfield a good game at that point.
Focusing on the classic pre-built world with prepared instanced encounters and pre-set loot tables. And in many ways, it makes sense for Riot to return to this classic formula. Because after nearly 15 years, after going through many different iterations, which left WoW in a very different state from where it was originally, WoW released its classic version, which very quickly became the most popular MMO in existence again. Like, classic WoW was just WoW again, and again it broke the records. This is why, if Riot is going for this, it is a very clever move. So Riot might be trying to approach this uncharted modern territory with a very hungry audience, which is also an audience that is very unlikely to get any kind of food unless we count the Season of Discovery. That one is absolutely awesome, although the gaps in content are getting a bit too long. Also, the funny thing is that even if they're
Kind of true. I mean, I'm almost kind of done, not gonna lie, so I'm on phase 2.
Sustenance becomes Riot's MMO, they are still not getting that food in a while. Now, if this was the only hint of the case that Riot is returning to the classic formula with MMOs, this theory wouldn't have too much of a footing. Which is where the second half of this theory arrived.
Oh boy.
That being Ghostcrawler leaving Riot. When this happened, it was quite unexpected to everyone. Ghostcrawler was always seen as one of the biggest connections players had to the MMO. And as the project started rolling, he mentioned that this was probably going to be his last big passion project around gaming. After this, he would be done. Now, the reasons for this were never 100% confirmed, but we were given a few hints. Partially, it was because of personal reasons. Partially, it is because big companies tend to move slowly, while he wanted to push for the MMO a lot faster. And partially, it was hinted that it could have been because of creative differences. Ghostcrawler simply wanted to push the MMO in a specific direction.
Wait, I think we have already heard this. I mean, it's understandable, okay.
With everyone else having different ideas. This of course would then loop back to the fact that if every decision had to be approved on some level, the entire company would slow the project down. Well, after taking all of this into consideration, if you then look at what MMO Ghostcrawler's team is making, some people thought everything started lining up. Because Project Ghost...
Oh yeah! Fantastic Pixel Castle. I remember that now, true.
It is not an MMO that would entirely follow the classic formula. The entire game is divided into two halves, which they call the shards. In one of these, every player will get their own...
Whoa, I didn't even know that we have so much information about this. Ho, interesting. Me likey.
Own randomly generated world. similar to Valheim or Minecraft. And after you've done some farming and leveling up, you can then take all your loot.
I mean, I'm kind of fine with a randomly simulated world, but again, I'm not fine with it if it's gonna be done like Starfield. It's having a billion planets or however no one cares amount of planets wasn't the bad part about it. The bad part about it that there were only like 3 different things that can spawn on a planet from 5 locations that you can visit, and that sucked. So I'm completely fine with it being a procedurally generated world or whatever, as long as the tile set is in the literal thousands, and I won't start to notice that, oh, I know what this is, you know. As long as that happens, I'm kind of okay with this.
Into the share world in the other shard, which is a fully designed open world with dungeons and raids, just like what you would expect in other MMOs. So the idea is that you farm some base level gear in your generated world, and then you take it all into dungeons and raids. For some people, the issue here is that this...
I think that sounds good. That sounds pretty cool. That sounds pretty cool, yeah. I like it.
Isn't exactly the classic formula they were looking for. Many people simply wanted the true and tested theme park. And so, a theory was born. What if...
I don't know about that. How many people do you actually think only raid log in World of Warcraft Classic? Because I'm a raid logger. I just raid log.
The fact that Tryndamere is a bit more involved in Riot's MMO, combined with the fact that he is seemingly a fan of the classic WoW formula, combined with the fact that Ghostcrawler left Riot after pushing for a bit more modernized kind of MMO, means that Riot's MMO is trying to go the classic route. The one that people know works and which has little to no competition. If you combine it with the fact that in all of these interviews,
I mean, that's good. That's good. I mean, I don't care if they design classic or if they design retail World of Warcraft, as long as they make it good. I literally could not care less in which direction they went. Well, technically, I kind of wanted to go to retail because, again, classic has issues. It's like, dude, I'm fine with bosses having, you know, 0 mechanics and whatnot, and tricking myself into thinking that I'm special for beating a boss with 0 mechanics, but I want at least to press more than, you know, 1 or 2 buttons. I actually want some kind of rotation or whatever.
Riot MMO team always said that they are ready to listen to people, and they are ready to focus on what people simply want to see the most. I think we all know where a lot of the feedback will line up. Truth be told, the MMO genre has suffered a lot from a lot of falls over the years. Right now, a lot of people are kinda tired of massive innovations. Because so far, and
people are not tired of massive innovations. This is completely incorrect, 100% in fact. People just don't like this word innovations, because when typically a game tries to do these things, it's bad. It's the same thing I feel that with the phrase superhero fatigue when it comes to like MCU, Marvel, and all of that garbage, right? It's not the fact that people are tired of superhero movies, it's just the fact that none of them are good. I think people would watch without any problems superhero movies or Star Wars if it was good. If it's not good, because most new things aren't good. So, it is what it is.
Wish I was joking about this. No other MMO that tried to be different ever succeeded. This is by far the most challenging hill in the history of gaming. So I'm not only curious to see if Ghost manages to be the first one to break.
Well, to be honest, there are a lot of MMOs that succeeded. It's just the fact that World of Warcraft is still technically the best, as ironic as it sounds. There's not a lot of MMOs that can match up to it, because everyone has played World of Warcraft. And if you have the choice between something completely new and something you have played, well, the completely new thing doesn't just absolutely blow the old thing out of the water. People are gonna just come back to the old thing. People come back to World of Warcraft every year. People don't play it for a year or two and then they come back. It's a cycle. And as long as you get someone through the door, that happens. Same thing you can see with, for example, things like Guild Wars. People who had played Guild Wars previously just come back to it time to time. World of Warcraft just has the ginormous advantage that it was the big game. It was literally the biggest game.
True, but I'm also curious to see if Riot realizes the gap in the MMO genre, and if the goal is to directly dethrone classic WoW, which has proven to be the king of MMOs twice already.
By the way, classic WoW hasn't proven shit. The reality is, classic WoW probably doesn't have even one-tenth of the player base that retail currently has. Okay, 1/10 is maybe a little bit far-fetched, but the classic WoW probably doesn't have even 1/5 of the retail player numbers. That's just the reality of it. Because the simple truth is, if it did actually have these numbers, Blizzard would be aggressively pushing for more monetization and things like that, but they don't. You know why they don't? Because there's not enough people to ruin it. They might as well just keep the good PR that they have from this, and maybe some people come back. But again, no, it's not even close. It's not even close. Classic World of Warcraft is not even close to the amount of players that are currently playing retail. It's just Classic has all the hype around it because it's been, I don't know, more than 10 years at this point that the average person who understands World of Warcraft can follow what's actually happening in retail.
Once in 2004 and the second time in 2019. And funnily enough, the numbers had shown that Season of Discovery is kinda going hard. So right now,
the numbers don't show that. That's the thing.
Might be the ruling king for the third time, although it may be because people are not really playing other MMOs. Well, truth be told, whatever the outcome is going to be, it's going to be a while until we learn anything at all. So right now, we still don't know much, and all of this is just a theory. All I know
game theory
is that we all really needed some copium to get away from reality.
No, not really. My life's pretty good. It is what it is. Anyway, do you actually not have like a thing here? How dare you? Anyway, that was Necrit. He does League of Legends lore and other things now too. Very good channel. It is what it is. Anyway, this was Quizzer Said. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye bye.